Hail, fair goddess, mother of the night, let us be ruled and guided by your silver light. Hey, Tubies, this is Psychic Bob. Well, I'm sitting here looking at one of my favorite pendants. Isn't this beautiful? This is a beautiful full moon face. It's done in frosted kind of crystal with little crystals around. Isn't that beautiful? It's hard to capture here, but it's very reflective and luminescent. Anyways, I'm wearing this today because it's the full moon. That's right. I was sitting here and I was looking at my Witch's Spell a Day Almanac. Last night I went out walking and the moon was so bright and full. I mean, it was amazing. But I'm actually kind of an eagle eye when it comes to watching the moon. I hadn't looked at my calendar. I said, oh my gosh, is tonight the night of the full moon? I thought this last night. But as I was looking at the moon, I could tell, and I'm curious, maybe you guys can do this also. It looked full, like the average person walking by says, oh, it's a full moon. But when I looked at it, I could tell it was just a hair slither off of being full. And I said, nope, it's not. Tomorrow's the full moon. I hadn't looked at the calendar this month, so I'd forgotten when it was. So I got home and I looked in the book. I said, I was absolutely right. It's tonight. So today we're having a beautiful day. Hopefully I'll be able to go out and see the moon tonight. I'm so excited. But here we are. It's UFO Friday. And, talking about watching the skies. I tell you, I've been out the last few days walking and looking at the sky. And I haven't seen anything. But, I tell you, I really think we all have to be watching. It's interesting. A lot of people have been saying, Psychic Bob, it seems like UFO sightings are increasing all over the world. And, I'm debating this. Part of me wants to say, yes, UFO sightings are increasing. But then part of me says, maybe the fact is that they've always been here, and now we're just capturing it more. People are more aware because of the internet, because of media, because of television. People, it's more in our consciousness. Yes, there are UFOs. There are a lot more testimonies. In the old days, people would have encounters with aliens. They didn't talk about it. It was so traumatizing or terrifying, or they were afraid of being labeled crazy. So the general public just didn't know about it. And I think now we're starting to break down that kind of barrier to where we're starting to not only understand that there could be life out there, which I know there is, but a lot of people don't know that yet. And also the technology around us is helping us to capture it quicker. In the old days, now I grew up in the 1970s, and back in the day, you younger people won't know this, but we used to have cameras. So you'd have to buy a camera and you'd have to manually load film into it. It was a real mess because it was easy to mess with. You'd have to buy, and you go in a dark room, you'd pull the film, click it in, try to get your camera to catch the film. That was always a drama. Sometimes it wouldn't catch it. And if it didn't, it wouldn't advance the film properly, and you'd have a whole roll of lost film. I can tell you, back in the 70s and even into the 80s, we just didn't have the technology. And nowadays with our cell phones, I mean, you guys today, you younger people, just take it for granted. So we'll go take a picture. But back in my day, film was expensive. And you would debate, some of you may remember this. You'd say, should I take a picture of that? I don't know. I don't want to waste the film. It's expensive. And then if you even got pictures, you didn't know if they'd come out for a week because you'd have to take your film to the local pharmacy or to a photo mat and have it developed. And sometimes it'd take 3 or 4 days to get it back, or even a week if it was a real busy time, like in the summer. So, the ability to just grab a camera and photograph UFOs was not something most people could do, unless you were a photo buff and you went everywhere with your camera. But honestly, back in the day, most people did not travel with cameras. Cameras in my day, and I think a lot of you are older will remember this, you only brought out your camera for holidays. You take pictures at Christmas or Thanksgiving. And if you went on vacation, you bring your camera. But if you're just going to the store every day, you didn't carry a camera with you. Nowadays, we have cameras with us 24/7. So, and this is what I think is wonderful, because a lot more people are now aware of the UFO phenomena, and people are watching the skies and they're like, hey, let's take a picture. Getting that picture. What's really interesting is, and again, I have to debate, are UFO presences increasing, or is this the technology making them more available? Maybe a little bit of both, honestly. I definitely think the technology factor has to be considered. Now, let me show you here. These are some interesting graphs. These are from different sources, different reporting centers around the country, and they've been charting UFOs since the late 1980s. And I want you to look. These are from 3 different reporting centers of UFO observers. And notice how all the maps have a similar trend. Let me put them up here. Look at these. So, very interesting. Now, if you were to take that right at face value, you would say, oh my God, they're increasing. Are they increasing, or is it that we're just more aware and people have the technology now to capture it so they know that they're not imagining it? I think in the past, a lot of times people would see a UFO and it would be so quick, they go, oh, I didn't see anything. That must have been in my mind, or it was a trick of the light, and they wouldn't report it. But now, with people being able to capture it, they're reporting and turning in the sightings a lot more to centers. And I really have to say that I think the technology is a big part. I personally believe that the aliens have been here on Earth visiting us and observing us literally for thousands and thousands of years. I believe that they're older than the human race, and they've been on the planet a long time. Many people, and my guides seem to indicate this, and I tend to believe it also, is that they helped life evolve here. And we're going to have to do a whole nother video about the jump in evolution and technology. But I think looking at this graph, we can see how technology has impacted the ability to study the phenomena. Because when I look at those graphs, I say, you know what? It's interesting when you look at the timeline. It was in the mid-90s that it really started to take off. Well, that's when cell phones and the early 2000s technology really started to get much more advanced. Cameras became digitized, and there was a greater awareness, greater ease of access with cable TV, and then the rise of the internet. So I think that people are more aware of what's going on. They're trying to capture it and report it. So I think the technology's really probably been the driving force. But that doesn't mean that they aren't increasing. Because, see, I also believe the other side of the coin is that the aliens are trying to, in a sense, show themselves more regularly. Because I do believe we're getting ready for full-scale disclosure, that there are aliens visiting the Earth. And I feel that, as I said it before, this next 2 years is very significant. So there could be a concerted effort to allow for them to be showing themselves more, so that when this all does come out, it's not going to be the big shock. But I can tell you, I have to be fascinated with these graphs. A lot of people are saying they feel that they are being more open. I think there is something to that. But again, I do think they've been here a long time. So it's going to be interesting. We're going to watch the next few years here. But I'm curious. I want to ask you guys, have you been noticing in your own lives, maybe you watch UFOs, have you heard stories of more sightings in the last few years? Does it seem like it's increasing? Maybe you've seen a sighting. Maybe you're somebody who's seen them for years. And now, I'd be interested in hearing from somebody who's been a regular witness. In your opinion and experience, are there more aliens appearing? Is there a greater increase, a greater visibility? Or is it the same as it's always been? It's just other people are seeing it. Be interesting to hear. So anyways, put your thoughts in the box below. I want to hear your concepts about technology and how that's affecting our sightings. Or maybe you believe there really are more UFOs. I'd love to hear that as well. anyways, guys, just want to come here, share those thoughts with you today. Just a little something to talk about and think about, okay? By the way, I got to say thank you. Thank you to all of you who came out to yesterday's video. We had Zodiac Thursday. If you didn't see that, that's in the queue right before this one. We talked about Jeff in Arizona. One of my viewers wrote in. He won the contest for the free chart. And we're going to have more of those. So definitely, if you like that, keep it here. We're going to do more of that, okay? We'll be having more contests. But anyways, yeah, I'm glad you're here. Listen, if you get a chance and you want to do some weekend shopping, pop over to my website. Also, pick up my books at www.robert-hickman.com. Link is in the info box below. Okay. You guys are the best. I love you. Listen, keep it here at Spirit Channel. We got more coming. Tomorrow's Saturday night seance, and you want to be here for that. Anyways, hope you'll help me out. Like this, favorite it, share it with your friends, and please hit subscribe if you haven't done so. Be part of our channel. We'd love you to be here. Well, guys, thanks for being here. I love you guys. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you back here tomorrow for the seance. And until then, may you always blessed be.